Hello, my name is Ruzbeh Samiari. In this presentation, I'm going to discuss about the strategic process of thought leadership in IBM company and explore how they are incorporating the thought leadership into their strategic objectives. IBM originated as an incorporation of different companies, including Bounty Manufacturing Company, International Time Recording Company, Tabulating Machine Company, and the Computing Scale Company, which altogether is called International Business Machines. IBM is located in New York and majorly is concerned with the manufacturing and the sales of computer software, hardware, and middleware. The company has branches almost everywhere, all around the globe, and over the years it has greatly grown due to incorporation of effective entrepreneurial ideas. IBM also has several employees, about 400,000. Then some of them are really famous, and all are thought leaders who won the Nobel Prize, and some Turing awards, national medals of technology and science. The company also has accepts a variety of ideas from interested parties from all around the world. It also offers technological consultancy for interested customers. We cannot talk about thought leadership without mentioning IBM's CEO and chairwoman, Mrs. Ramati, who is the president of the IBM, a real thought leader who is the first woman to serve in that level at IBM. She has held series of leadership positions in IBM and serves on the Council on Foreign Relations, the Board of Trustees of Northwest Universities, and the Board of Overseas and Managers of Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Also, in recognition of her leadership roles as a professional industry, Mrs. Ramti was honored with the Carl Sloan Award in 2006. She's also given the awards for Association of the Management Consulting Firms as well. Now, the question would be, why do we believe that IBM is an appropriate for thought leadership strategy? IBM is a powerful company in identifying the talents and innovative capabilities of potential business leaders. Once a business leader in a specific field is spotted, they are going to contact him or her and share their expertise with the strategic team at the IBM. The ideas are thereafter filtered, and the best ones would be applied in the production and the sales process. Being a technological company, IBM must at all times be on the front foot of technology, with no doubt. Now, to offer a cutting edge in the dynamic technological market, the company also engaged with entrepreneurs globally so as to acquire trending ideas. Their employees are also allowed to take part in strategic decision-making process to offer a vast coverage of knowledge for the investment. The thought leadership strategy process is a very essential towards the realization of a perfect business. And that's one of the reasons that IBM is suitable for thought leadership strategy. Entrepreneurial's contribution is highly appreciated in this production department to ensure that the production dynamics are well applied, and strategic planning in a company such as IBM is very key towards its success, and there is no doubt. The diversified knowledge should be also accepted from the creative minds, both within and without the company, and by employees in all departments that have succeeded due to the logical application of the thought leadership process at IBM. The thought leadership strategy process has been logically organized at IBM. Nevertheless, there is much room for improvement, for incorporation of even recent skills. Developing in a thought leadership discipline, the production department is highly characterized with the information on how to manufacture, produce, and construct the products that would sell appropriately in this market. And employees are contacted in the process to acquire the knowledge about greater production techniques. And for instance, at IBM, company employs and external entrepreneurs and are consulting and requesting to share their knowledge on a new software and hardware production techniques, which this forms the foundation of the thought leadership strategy process at IBM. The thought leadership are then applied in the sales department. The company use expertise of their trusted investors and entrepreneurs to sell these products and service to customers. This process, the process of thought leadership sales, also applies in the marketing department, such as online marketing with websites and other social media which are used to the marketing purpose. And this process is customized by dedicated experts who are the thought leaders. So this thought leadership strategy process basically is effectively done and completed when the company coordinates its progress successfully. There is more room, of course, for incorporation of a value for the thought leadership strategy, and IBM can look into such development incorporation in the process, and there is no doubt. The combination, the company, and the combination of thought process and other strengths majorly touch on how they conduct their business. By the assistance of thought leadership strategies, they built a strong production base with an effective thought leadership process, which most companies with strengths in business conduction and management have indeed strong thought leadership techniques as well. And IBM has invested in different parts of the world, constructing branches in over 170 countries. And they also claim of a huge base of employees, up to 400,000, that spread globally. And it's the key job for creating in the technology industry. The company also engaged in purchase of other companies that produce similar products. The purchases have effectively contained competition and lead to a high profit rates. IBM production rate has been increasing over the last 10 years. As you see in the chart, production increase is majorly boosted by the effective thought leadership strategy, and incorporation of expert ideas in a company leads to a very effective progress. The company is garnering of more revenue, increasing the dividend to a quarterly dividend rate, and the company rate of growth has highly been linked with its ability to incorporate the thought leadership strategies. When we are looking the organizational strengths of IBM, we need to mention that it has highly been attributed to the ability of coordinating a strong thought leadership process. As I mentioned, it's located over 170 countries globally. At least each continent has been reached by IBM in addition to the continental areas. IBM has therefore created a global market that enables it to command the computer technology industry. However, certain regions have not been entered into the IBM yet. All other regions that are yet to be entered have strategies in place for entry. IBM enjoys global company existence that enables it to manage the competition very comfortably. The global manifestation gives a way for acquisition of global technological knowledge from different global groups, and technological information from all other countries, from all other companies, when properly sorted, it would give room for the new ventures that cannot be matched by the key competitors. This is an essential thought leadership strategy that creates the differences between a successful company such as IBM and the one that is not. So global presence also leads to a huge customer base, hence a huge amount of profit. So of course business all about profit. It is all about profit. So the higher the profit, the better of the company. That's what they're saying. By establishing a huge employee base and intercontinental availability, IBM has greatly enabled the global technology development. Global investments open up the opportunity of applying thought leadership strategies by collective and investment ideas from all the other countries. And the global expansion also enables the company to gain more profits that leads to their continuous elaboration. The company also strive to establish strong customer relationships with trust and responsibility for customers across the globe. All mentioned strengths that we discussed are about IBM as a key for IBM towards the accomplishing success in business by considering all the aspects of thought leadership. Since 2000, IBM has purchased over 40 software firms. All of these firms are categorized and from the technological skills that IBM has combined and outshined the competition. By acquiring other software companies, IBM has expanded their business environment by increasing the technological expertise in their houses. All the acquired companies come along with the unique software development skills and hardware production expertise, which each company present their knowledge at IBM. The technological team at IBM then also combines with the filters to the new knowledge in the process, and this inability of major competitors to match the rate of software company acquisition is a strength that keeps them moving at a faster rate. So purchasing other software companies also excuses the IBM from excessive competition, since the competitors don't exist anymore. The acquisition of other companies basically is a view of thought leadership strategy that can be added to the company system by investing. So this strength enables IBM to realize its mission and vision. IBM mission and vision statements support the dedication to the success of every client, global innovation for the company, and personal responsibility, and also trust in relationships. By purchasing other software companies, IBM would allow the global community to incorporate their rich technological knowledge at a central place that can be used to improvement of the global economy. And new entrepreneurs are allowed to contribute toward this thought leadership strategic process. So there are students in different parts of the world who have bright ideas, but only lack of the sponsors to support them. So IBM has achieved its mission of the global outreach by getting down to the global outskirts and in the process of sponsoring the potential innovations. As you may know, Boston Matrix can be used to support the strengths of any company as well as IBM in relation to its success in the field of technology. Boston Matrix is an analytical tool that can be used by business entities to analyze their product lines. It helps companies to allocate resources and conduct strategic management. These are different components of the Boston Matrix here that can be used to analyze the performance and priority of the IBM. So these components include cash cows, dogs, problem child, and cash cow. So based on this Boston Matrix, we can explain the contribution of acquisition toward the success in IBM. By purchasing other companies, Boston Matrix sets a path for new production knowledge. Opportunities will increase as the result of such a knowledge advancement. And the Boston Matrix has 4 components that can be used to rather support the contribution of purchasing other companies toward the success of IBM. So the first component of the Boston Matrix is problem child. To initiate any stage of business in investment is a problem, just as a little child. So such business ideas are problematic. They face very uncertain futures, prompting the suspicion for investors. However, problem children are part of the risk-taking ventures and should not be avoided. At this stage, the business operates with a very low market share in a mature business environment. And IBM has made software company purchases in areas that have been greatly ventured into by chief competitors. At this stage, IBM is forced to maintain a low profiles in the industry and with a very low market share. So the competitors tend to flourish more at this stage of business investment. Luckily, IBM contributes through the SWOT analysis before they engage to purchase of other companies. Sometimes a purchase company fall the ranks to be liability, and critical analysis is that needed in order to establish whether such a risk are necessary or not. Problem children can catch up and become a star, and IBM has greatly succeeded in this process by entering new fields and acquiring other companies in order to strengthening their position in the market. Let's speak about STAR stage. The success of a thought leadership strategies applied earlier are determined at this stage of investment, STAR. Purchase companies are businesses units that possess a very huge market value. Technological companies have the high value in the market due to their high demand. With the increase in the human knowledge, there is a need to increase to a higher percentage of technological requirements. Most global sectors are getting automated with the time, and the demand for the computer software and hardware is always increasing. There is need to fasten growth in this sector, and IBM is purchasing such assets to enable its rate higher than other competitors in this market. They are therefore very ready to set the ownership of the high market value business. IBM also has fund the purchase projects highly in order to counter the ever-rising competition. Competition for software company is very stiff. It's very difficult. A lot of funds is needed to do the necessary purchases. It's very expensive, and investment in the technology sector must be supported with this amount of funds, because different companies with alternative services also are coming. So company acquisition increased the level of the share in the market for IBM, and by purchasing several software production companies, IBM is increasing its market share and create a huge command in the computer technology as well. IBM has purchased different software companies globally. A huge share of the market has been available to them, and most competitors cannot match with them due to such a huge investments. At this stage, cash cow, the thought leadership strategic process is greatly slow and leading a slow company growth. The strategies may be applied at a very slow rate. IBM has made investment in the most part of the globe, and there is no doubt. They have purchased software companies, including those in lowly developed countries, and such purchases are compared to a cash cow that are long-term investment. So they are long-term investment producing revenue effectively at a very slow rate. So most of the third world countries have not been effectively incorporated the technological development yet. However, the future is set to be bright. Nevertheless, that IBM has made investment in all those regions, most of which have not been invaded by other competitors yet. Those areas attract a moderate investment as a measure to potential business failure. IBM has made a little company purchases in these countries and areas in order to avoid the negative risk effects. Dogs is another stage at a Boston matrix, which the thought leadership at this stage can be greatly supersede due to the slow development capacity. So companies that really want to implement the thought leadership strategy should carefully and critically handle this stage. IBM also has not greatly invested in this market niche with the dog characteristics. Certain regions do not support the investment in the business values in terms of company purchases. So such business ventures are not effective and have been avoided by IBM. So the incorporation of the thought leadership has greatly assisted IBM in a succeeding technological sector. The thought leadership enables the company to obtain knowledge and expertise from entrepreneurs both locally and globally. Sometimes it involves purchases of an entire company, and IBM has invested in more than 170 countries all around the world. Global availability enables them to exercise their strengths very effectively for the realization of the more profits. By acquiring other companies, IBM established very strong knowledge base that they can use to produce better software and hardware. As you remember, the Boston Matrix could be used to analyze the success of IBM and its strengths. And we know that IBM has carefully navigated through the problem child stage in order to reach the star stage where the business succeeds much more. And all risks are carefully handled by IBM, giving the company the ability to successfully enter the new markets and manage the competitions. Considering this information covered, and finally, I believe that IBM has effectively coordinated its thought leadership strategic processes, a strength that has strongly contributed toward IBM's success. Thank you so much for watching this presentation.